Very good morning, it's Penuel, the Black Pen. News that came in yesterday is that the Premier of Gauteng, David Makhura, has resigned and stepped aside. He believes that it is time for a new candidate that is going to steer the ANC ship in Gauteng, leading up to what's going to potentially be a very difficult election in 2024 for the ANC. President Cyril Ramaphosa has applauded the ANC in Gauteng for the very professional way in which David Makhura has stepped down without any drama. David Makhura has served Gauteng for about 8 years, and in that time mostly has been loved not only by the ANC but by many other political parties as well. There are three other potential candidates that might be sworn in on Thursday, which is tomorrow, from the ANC, being Panyaza Lesufi, who was the MEC of Education, quite a popular and loved guy as well, Tasneem Motara, and Kidibone Diale. Those are the potential candidates that might be taking over as the Premier of Gauteng. We found out earlier this year when the ANC in KZN had their own elective conference, and Utuma there became the ANC chairperson in KZN, and we saw Sihle Zigalala stepping down as the Premier of KZN. As I said, with the DA losing its mayoral candidate, Dr. Mpho Phalatse in Gauteng, in Johannesburg rather, we're going to be seeing a lot of these Game of Thrones type of moves leading up to the 2024 elections, with the ANC trying to come up with a campaign that is strong, because a lot of people suspect that they're going to hit for the first time under 50% at the national elections, which will mean that they will need to get into coalition with some other political party, of which, if they do, the suspicions are that they will be joining the EFF, or at least trying to offer the EFF something lucrative for them. A lot of people are expecting with David Makhura to potentially join government as a member of parliament or as a minister, but Cyril Ramaphosa says it's still a bit early, and we'll see where David Makhura lands up moving forward. Yesterday we had stage 2 water restrictions in Gauteng, with Rand Water saying that some of the dams are at very low levels and people are not using water sparingly. We've been dealing with load shedding with Eskom and electricity for a couple of years now. Obviously, it's been 15 years of load shedding, but there was a year or two where Brian Molefe and Matsila Koko had made sure that we didn't have load shedding in this country. It seems that we're not just going to have issues with electricity moving forward, but we might be having issues with water. I had a meeting with Tutuzane Zuma a couple of weeks ago in Durban, and one of the things he did mention that we need to be very careful that we won't be having water restrictions, and here we are. They're already kicking in now, and with summer looking like it's going to be very, very hot, there's a chance that we're going to be having less and less water. Some of the people in Rand Water have asked people of Gauteng to please not stockpile water. That means you're not collecting water in tanks, and just use water sparingly, but don't make sure that other people are not getting water. We'll see how that goes. I'm not really sure, but I'm nervous, as I am with this country. Very disappointed with our government, not just at national level, but at provincial and local levels as well. It seems like the wheels are just coming off, and I'm not sure what the plan is going to be moving forward into 2024. I'd like to give a big thanks to a good friend of mine, Rob Hersov, and his wife, Katie, an amazing medical doctor from New Zealand. Rob loves his wife so much, and he speaks about her at every platform that he gets, basically. Rob and Kate have contributed very generously to the work that I'm doing. I'm going to be using some of the funds that they've sent to me to buy equipment so that I can make better quality videos, at least for my channel, Penuel the Black Pen. What I committed to Rob and Katie is that some of the proceeds I'm going to be making from my YouTube channel, I'm then going to use to then fund some of the charity initiatives that I do, hopefully invest in a few small businesses that I've found along the way that need a little bit of funds, and maybe also using it to travel around the country, meet with people, inspire people, pass information and education to people, and push for political literacy. I know that Rob is very passionate about change. He says that he supports the DA, but he'd actually like to get a coalition government in 2024 with the DA, with Action SA, with the IFP, with the Freedom Front, and other political parties. A lot of people have accused him of being a capturer of sorts, and they've accused him of capturing me, which is quite sad. I saw this week Andile Mngxitama posting another picture on Facebook stating that Rob Hersov has got this demonic plan for 2024 and calling people like myself and Tlantla Lux of Soweto Parliament agents and puppets of Rob Hersov, which is quite sad for me. And I wrote, I think, a very decent response explaining that I was very disappointed in him because it speaks to his inferiority complex. I work with so many different people. Besides the contribution from Rob, I've gotten contributions from DJ Spoo from some of the work that I'm doing. I've gotten contributions from some of my other mentors who happen to be black people that are making money. There's a great gentleman I work with, Kandani Msibi from 360, who invests in a lot of young black entrepreneurs. And for him to single out one white person, understanding the history of the Hersov family in this country with Anglophile, the grandfather, the father as well, I think it speaks mostly to an inferiority complex. It tells me that if you are a black person who maybe has a platform, who maybe has a mind, and as soon as you are seen with a rich white person, you stop thinking independently. When I'm seen with a rich black person, that's all fine. Doesn't matter what that rich black person's agenda may be. But as soon as it's a rich white person, you are captured, you are a puppet, you are an agent. And it makes me very, very sad. And I found myself even thinking, I wonder what real work Andile Mngxitama and the BLF have done for his followers and black South Africans. I've asked many times on social media, on Twitter, before I was permanently suspended. And after we had an interview with Andile Mngxitama, with DJ Spoo on the Hustler's Corner, I had a wish to debate with him because some of the suggestions I wanted to give to him after the debate was to look at models like AfriForum. Is it possible for BLF to create a great crowdfunding space and create a non-profit organization and use that money to, number one, fight legislation so that land can be forcefully taken from the state and from private holders and given to black people, and even from traditional leaders and given to black people, and then some of the money be used to buy up land or lease land and hand it over to black people so that they can begin farming, developing property, running businesses on that land. I'm scared and I'm saddened by the idea that Andile Mngxitama might just end up just being a career politician, making a lot of noise, seeking for attention, and not fundamentally fighting for the land, for the people, and fighting for black people in spaces where it matters most. People like Gauteng Mackenzie, Tutuzane Zuma, Ian Cameron, Herman Mashaba, Musi Maimane are doing work on the ground, and Andile Mngxitama looks like he's just making noise, which is quite sad, and it may explain why he even left or was even kicked out of the EFF, the Economic Freedom Fighters, with Julius Malema. I hope that sooner rather than later, he catches a wake up and he starts putting in the right amount of work for BLF, for the people that follow him and that believe in him. As a Bikoist, as someone who follows Thomas Sankara, I think it's fundamentally important that he gets moving with the work and not be obsessed with people like myself. I don't even think I'm an entity or a problem for his agenda. And even for people like Rob. Rob is very clear on what his agenda is. Other people are clear about what their agendas are. I'm clear on what my agenda is. I'm trying to find good, hardworking South Africans who are willing to collaborate and work together in making this country work, in building a Springbok economy, in building a Springbok nation that wins and that leads. I don't have time for politics. I've said many times that I hate the political system and I think it needs to be reformed. And I know Mandisa Mashiko and some of the people are working hard towards reforming politics in this country. I've said before that I'm not really sure who to vote for, but I don't really like the DA. I don't really trust the DA, even though it is good at governance. Musi Maimane has come through with Bossa, his new political party. Not really sure about Herman Mashaba and Action SA. I love Gauteng Mackenzie and the work he's doing, but that won't make me vote Patriotic Alliance. I'm deeply disappointed by the ANC, and they seem to still have not been humbled. They are still not working on the ground to serve the people, and they are constantly caught by internal battles. They are constantly distracted with tender money, COVID relief money, and other corruption things out there, which is quite sad for me. Rob has become a great friend. He has got his agendas. I argue with him on a regular basis on ideologies. I argue with some of my other friends who happen to not be white, who may be black, who may be Indian, about some of their political ideologies. That's who I am. It's because I'm independent of mind. But again, I would just like to thank Rob and Katie. Thank you so much for the contribution. And thank you to the Smart Bees from the Smolitics group as well, which I'll be rejoining soon. Thank you for this, to the Smart Bees for all the contributions that I've received from them. I'm hoping to build with you guys, and I'm hoping to pay it forward to all the needy South Africans that are doing amazing work on the ground to make this country a better place. Tlantla and Soweto Parliament are hosting the Soweto Olympics this month, and I'm hoping that I'll be seeing some of you guys there. Have a great and blessed day. I love you guys very much. Pin you on the black pen. Cheers.